want to welcome you back to the Sportcology Institute training series, What Do You Watch For When You Watch the Olympics? Today in this series on watching the Olympic Games, let's look at what we can learn from these last 16 days. There's only a few days left, but I want to leave you with something to think about and where you're going once the games are over. Our athletes are coming home this time, but not as a team, but individually because of the pandemic. And so, they are coming home, and a lot of them are going home alone, without their teammates, without the teams. We don't do this alone. It starts at home. An Olympic flame is lit, and we can't do anything else but take on the world and see how we compare to anyone else that is inspired to become an Olympian. I'm Jungle Jim Hunter, and you're listening to Living Your Best Life podcast, where we inspire participation, communicate precision, and empower performers to podium. And you can do that by going to your favorite podcast provider and telling your friends and relatives and those you know to go and listen, either at the podcast or to junglejimhunter.com or YouTube, and subscribe, download, click on like, rate, and review us, and become an 831er, somebody that is inspired to live their best life by this podcast. It's day 15 of the 32nd Olympic Games, and they're almost over, and 17 days to the 16th Paralympic Games that are coming up later. I hope you will continue to watch the Games and the Paralympic Games and support our teams in the sport that you're interested in. Well, this podcast is called 831 because my mother helped me learn to journal after my brain concussion at 10 years of age. I couldn't remember what I was supposed to do, and so she taught me to write everything down. And as a result, it became my training journals. I wrote down everyone that helped me, and it was 831 people. And they took the time to volunteer and help me become the best of the best of the best. I've done research, and I found out that the average Olympian has 1 million hours of volunteer time per athlete to make it to the Games. In my 12 years of time, it cost $2.2 million in 1974 dollars. And you don't do it to make the money, because you don't get the money. You actually get the support to be the best you can be. You do it to see what you're made of. The label Olympian you have for the rest of your life, and so it should cost you something because the value of it is intangible. You know you took on the world and represented your community, your country, your family, and yourself, and you were the best. I want to ask you what you can do to continue to light the flame and keep it burning in the hearts of young people in your life that have desire to become an Olympian. You can give to the sport or to the Canadian Olympic Committee, and you'll get a tax credit. You can volunteer to help a sport or coach an athlete or fix a venue or support a travel team that represents your community in a tournament of competition. For 85% of these athletes, they come home to starting over. They have worked to become the best of the best in their whole life, and now they have to finish their education, get a job, and pay their Olympic debt off that they've been paying into to represent us. Invite an Olympian to come and speak to your community and pay them for coming, but ask if they carry debt and offer to help them pay it off. I end this series with my favorite Canadian Olympic story, and I won't use their name because it represents all of the Olympians. This Olympian fell in love with her sport and competed around the world. And during a world championships, she noticed each day as she arrived and competed that there were little eyes looking through the windows, trying to see what was going on inside the venue. Each day they came and she stopped to talk to them. They didn't seem to have much, so she gave them what she had: a little bit of food and a little bit of time and a smile and a friendly face. One little girl came every day, and she noticed it. So she gave her training food and asked if she loved swimming. In broken English, the little girl said, "Yes." "Do you swim?" the girl was asked. "No," came the reply. "Why not?" the Olympian asked. "I don't have a swimsuit." The Olympian asked if she would be there the last day. "Yes," came the reply. The last day, the Olympian came out and sat down with the girl and gave her a bag with food, things she thought the girl could use, and whatever currency she had left, and her swimsuits. The Olympian told her she had to go swimming with those swimsuits and know what it felt like to swim. For years, they returned to that venue, and the girl was growing, and each time the Olympian would ask, "Did you go swimming?" "Yep," she said, and every time she had this big smile. Canada's Olympian finished her career and got back to life after competing years later. Her phone rang one day, and the voice on the other end, through tears, told her the following story. "Thank you for what you did for me. Your time and how you helped me changed my life, so I have a greater future and a better life than I thought I could ever have. Without your help, I would not be here in your city calling you to thank you for the difference you made in my life." The Olympian was breathless and asked, "Who are you?" The little girl told the Olympian her name and the rest of her story. "You came to my country and gave me food and things and a swimsuit. Each year I grew into the swimsuit and learned to swim. I pushed hard and became an Olympian in my country, and although I never won a medal, I represented my country. In our country, if you represent your country, you are given and provided an education, and I wanted to know how to become a dentist because of your kind, white smile you greeted me with every day. I competed, went to school, and graduated, and wanted to find you and be where the kindest person I have ever met lived, and live in that place. I am a dentist in your city now, and my thank you to you and your family is if you ever need dentistry, you come and see me, and I will give you your dental work as my thank you for giving me the best life ever." The Olympians you watch at the games are the best of the best of the best. Canada has the highest qualification standards to get to the games, and therefore you are only watching our best. They give all they have. Olympians in Canada grow up knowing they didn't do it alone. They had to depend on you. They all have their list of 831 people that were their first responders that stepped forward, stepped up, and stepped in, and without them, they couldn't be our best. Thank you. I was given $2.2 million of support, and when I managed the torch relay for the 15th Olympic Winter Games in Calgary, I wanted to give back 10 times that, so the next generation of Canadian athletes would benefit from what I was given. That program continues today and since 1988 has given millions to Canadian athletes and coaches. This podcast is never about me and what I did. It's about the 831 people that gave me a chance to live my best life ever. Invite an Olympian to come and speak and inspire the next one. Ask them if they need help to start over and be generous. A young boy was training and working hard. A man watching didn't think the boy would make it. It was too late, too old, and too big to become an Olympian. He just didn't have what it took. The older man noticed one day that the boy had an old, torn, shabby coat, and so he gave him a new one. The boy was surprised because he'd always been criticized by the man and told he would never make it. "Why did you give me this coat?" the boy asked. The man replied, "Because I've watched you, and your character wears it well." Our Olympians wear our uniform well. They are the kind of people we should want our kids in our country, our community, and our homes to be like. Let's welcome them home and let them know they wear our maple leaf well. I don't know if you've noticed it, but our maple leaf has 13 points on it. 3 at the top for the territories, and the rest for the 10 provinces. Thank you for listening. I hope you will have grown and will be living your best life the next time we meet. My quote for the day: "To be the best, I have to give all that I have, knowing I may not have anything to come back to." I'm Jungle Jim Hunter, and I hope you're enjoying 831 Living Your Best Life podcast. Thanks for listening.